We're live. I don't know if the intro's, but we're gonna try.
What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on wax. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe, hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I am your boy Buzz. I am joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted, and we are here to recap a Chicago Bulls opening night victory against the Miami Heat, 116-108. But before we do that, be sure to go on TapSportsNet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at Bulls Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Also, if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, I guess you could stay on Facebook, but go to the YouTube. Go to the On Tap Sportsnet YouTube, comment, subscribe, that whole thing. We have a bunch of rowdy, awesome individuals that join us every goddamn post game that we do here in the comment section. Get in here with them because they're the most fun part of the show, not us. So go in there and join them. Goose, I'm off cloud nine right now. The day started bad. You know why? Because Zach LaVine was ruled out of the game, and I was pretty fucking irritated about that. But right now, I'm on cloud nine. I'm rambling. It's been like 2 minutes. How are you doing? Let's just how are you doing?
I'm doing good now because now I can say no ball, Zach, no problem, and and that makes me feel good because we got a W. We're undefeated, riding that preseason vibe. We're still going to be champions, and after tonight, I don't care what anybody says. DeMar DeRozan is still the number one candidate for MVP. So feeling pretty good right now. That was an exciting game outside of the first quarter. If you're a Bulls fan, Heat started the game shooting lights out, and the Bulls started the game 2 for 8.
Yeah, it was like 2 for 8 from down there.
And then they're about 5 for 15 and 0 for 6 from downtown halfway through the first there. So it was very ugly and painful in that first quarter. But if you stuck it out as a Bulls fan, despite the bad news and the horrible start, you're dancing and celebrating with us right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get to Alex Rude calling me out in the comments section, we're going to talk a little bit about Zach LaVine not playing in today's game. Alex Rude, Jordan Miller, and I, they're in the chat right now, Alex and Jordan, but we did a little spaces earlier where we were just talking about it and trying to gauge opinions and stuff like that. Were you surprised to see that news? Because first of all, I haven't gotten to get your opinion on that because I know you had to work earlier today. I left a meeting to open up a space because I was so upset. I had to talk to somebody about it, but were you surprised to see that?
Yeah, I mean, we finished off the preseason with Zach not playing and Zach not playing in the second half of that third preseason game, and we put a positive spin on it. We chalked it up to him being confident in his knee because that's what he was telling us. Yeah. And we swept the sub 40% and sub 10 points per game underneath the rug and just said, you know what, Zach's going to be Zach when the season starts. And then you get the news that injury. How do you manage an injury when you haven't played a game yet?
Well, that's where it became conflicting. Because Zach said that it was no setback. Zach said there was no discomfort. And you love him or hate him, go shoot Joe Collie a foul if you don't, or say sorry to him because he did good reporting today. Because he was the one who asked Zach if there was any discomfort or said, oh, well, you have your discomfort, Zach. He goes, I never said I had discomfort. Said, I never said that. Billy comes out later in the day and said that Zach started feeling it after the intense workouts. So I don't understand why it has to be a big fucking secret. It's really annoying. But here we are.
Well, yeah, because the Bulls have 6 more games in the next 10 days. So
Right.
how many of these games is Zach LaVine actually going to play? And if he does play, what kind of minutes restriction is he going to be at? We already expected him not to be playing in back-to-backs to start the season until, he kind of got his feel and got his confidence in that knee again. But to see the first game of the season after 9-10 days rest, a week and a half, to not play in this game, almost rained on the parade, like big time. It really put a damper on Bulls opening night, and I'm glad that this team came together and Dragic, the Dragon, took the heat from the Heat in that first half to kind of keep us alive to get to the DeMar show in the second half.
Yeah, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit on Zach. Yes, Chai Sports fan, Zach did make the trip out to Miami. He was there. Yeah, I thought it was super weird. I don't like the secretiveness around the injury. I hate that. Going into a year where we want to be competitive, the continuity aspect of things, you need to be healthy. Being down a starting backcourt that have 2 huge contracts in it, Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine, is not ideal. But this is where we're going to flood into the game. That was then. This is now. There's people on Twitter right now. If you're on Twitter, go to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube, and then subscribe and hop in the comment section because that's fucking cool. But yeah, I was really happy with the play of Ayo Dosunmu. I have to say he was really good tonight. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He turned the ball over 2 times in 36 minutes, 7 for 14 from the field, 3 for 6 from downtown. Confidence, leadership,
Poise, another one.
Yeah, Poise is another one. Hand him a blank check. I don't want him going anywhere. I love what Ayo is doing. He's taking it really seriously. Vooch started off a little rough. I really, really was getting on Billy Donovan. I wasn't tweeting it out. I didn't really have Twitter fingers too much during the game tonight, but I wanted Billy Donovan to be screaming at his players for not letting Vooch eat in the post when he had Martin or Kyle Lowry switched onto him.
Wasn't taking advantage of it at all.
There's a couple times he backed that ass on up like a dump truck down there, bro.
There was just as many times where he got the ball and he tried to take a little bit too long of a midi hook and did not take advantage of the mismatch. So as much as I agree with you that the Bulls need to take advantage of those and get him the ball to have the opportunity to do so, he was rushing a couple of these opportunities tonight and was leaving them short on the rim. So Vooch definitely struggled, but Bam Adebayo luckily struggled equally for the Heat tonight. Both of them kind of came along in the second half kind of equally, but Vooch had a big 3 in that fourth as well. But Vooch, we got to see him take advantage of those mismatches as much as we need to see the Bulls.
I love the 15-17 with the 2 steals and the 3 blocks, or 2 assists and the 3 blocks from him tonight. I do want to see him be a little bit more aggressive. Like you said, maybe assert yourself a little bit more. I felt like he was trying to get down there. I just felt like he wasn't getting the ball in a good spot. But it is what it is. We got to talk about DeRozan a little bit too. 14 for 22, 2 for 3 from downtown, 7 for 11 from the free throw line. So you already know he's going to stay at the stadium and shoot free throws after everybody leaves. But 37 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover for the MVP.
That's a unbelievable stat sheet there.
He only had 9 points in the first half. Came out in the second half and did MVP shit. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. I do want to say Goran Dragic carried us in that first half a little bit, man. He kept it. He had a couple of threes.
Him and Ayo carried us entirely in that first half, and it was kind of nice to see, despite a few blunders from Drummond, that the other addition that the Bulls made in the offseason made a positive impact. I don't know how you felt about the rotations entirely, but even without 2 of our highest paid and obviously our best players, I really didn't feel like we were lacking potential and the ability to compete. Like, it felt pretty good, and obviously Kyle Lowry was horrible tonight too, which helped.
Oh yeah,
but from a team standpoint in general, I didn't feel outmatched against the Miami Heat tonight, even without Zach in zone.
Yeah, which is it's funny, but like I don't expect Bam Adebayo to struggle like he did tonight. I don't expect – I mean, Kyle Lowry, he might be on his last leg. I mean, honestly. I mean, he's been in the league for a long time, and, I mean, he's been a very good player for a long time. But tonight he looked vulnerable, but the most thing that I kind of got out of Lowry's game tonight was he looked lost. And there's a difference between your shot not falling or not being able to get within the rhythm of an offense if you're trying to looking lost. And when you look lost, that means something's wrong with your confidence, and I think that's a big thing when you're playing basketball. And if he doesn't have that, I don't know what the Heat should do there. 35 minutes for him, 1 for 7. He only scored 2 points.
Well, what's crazy about that is the offseason that DeMar and him both signed, you had people saying that he was a better signing for the Heat than DeMar was for the Bulls. And Obviously you watched how that kind of played out tonight, obviously a season later. But still a pretty hefty contract for Lowry. Which makes you curious to see what the Heat will be able to do with that moving forward if he is kind of on his last leg here. The Heat were most definitely a contender last year. I don't know if the Heat are a legitimate contender this year.
Game 1, they ran into a better team, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, it's game 1, bro. I'm not sure, but I will tell you where my overreaction of game 1 comes in. Is one of two things. I was ready to super kick Kobe White in the first there, missing wide open give me's. He had that one turnover that really pissed me off a lot. But he kind of got it going.
Jumper where he jumped out of bounds.
Yes. Oh God, man. It's like what the fuck? It's like his controller got stuck in 2K. It's like that little fucking hezzy and he just went back like this. I'm like, what is going on here, dude? Like, I didn't understand, but he had a couple shots, did a couple things that kind of made up for it in my eyes. We all know he's streaky. He'll figure it out. This is where I'm coming down hard. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting my foot. I don't care. I don't want to see Patrick Williams. I don't want to see him in the starting lineup. I don't want to see him in the rotation. I don't want to see him anywhere. He is far too timid. I don't need to see the bench shit with him. I don't care. He'll be more confident coming off the bench. I don't fucking care.
You just want him iced.
Yeah, I want him iced. Put fucking Remember that report came out? We did it on a show. We were talking about how Dalen Terry was dogging him in practice and talking shit. That's because Dalen Terry was probably giving him the fucking work, a 3-piece. I don't even know. He was doing something to him that fucked him up. This kid, Goose, 2 for 6. 4 fucking points in 28 minutes.
Why Billy's reluctant to play Derrick Jones? Do you think that DJJ can't get run? Because if you see similar, I guess, results from him that you do from Javonte, when you put these just high effort, high motor, high flying kind of guys in at that 4 spot as opposed to Pat, that you do just kind of run Pat right out of the rotation, despite the fact that he is supposed to be the best shooter out of the 3. Not that we saw that tonight. And defensively is where I'm having my issue. Because offensively, I can handle a guy that at least pulls some gravity.
He gets lost on defensive rotations, Goose. He doesn't know where the fuck he needs to go.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he gets hung up on picks. He's getting blown by like he's a drill cone. He is not looking at all like a two-way player. He can't put one side of the floor together. I'm not to the point where I'm saying ice him completely.
I'm putting my foot. Dude, like every once in a while you play it safe and you're like, oh man, I really think he might be able to turn into something good. You see the talent. I've said that a million times. It's game 1. What happened 8 hours ago? Zach LaVine was announced out of the game. You hear about the whole offseason. Oh, he's working out with DeMar. He's doing all of these things.
And
he looks worse than he did last year.
And then instead the second round pick is the one that's coming
carrying you.
Yep.
It's fucking mind-blowing, dude. Like at this point, like if you can't, you're not adding anything out there. He's the only starter that finished fucking negative in the plus minus tonight.
How many boards did he have? Was it under 5?
I had more than he did. He had 2. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm irritated.
2 boards, buddy?
Yeah, he had 2 boards. That's it.
Let me get in the game.
Well, I would get like 9, I bet. I'm just kidding. I can jump really fucking high, dude.
Buzz Rodman?
Well, when I'm fucking drinking Miller Lite, dude, I'm almost sure I could fly. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Fair.
But I'm just saying, man, like, I don't want to dog him. I don't want to be that guy like where I obviously I couldn't do any better. He'd whip my ass like we always laughed about last season when I was talking like I'm going to beat up Grayson Allen and he's just going to like put me in a headlock and beat me up or whatever. But this kid, if the talent's there, which we've seen glimpses and stuff, this is year 3, dude. This is year 3. You're the 4th pick of the 2020 NBA draft. The guys that went ahead of you are Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball. That should be motivation for you enough as it is. You know, like I want to show that I belong in the top 5 of that draft. Like I want to show that I'm good enough to do that.
Well, then
like,
you got Scotty Barnes that came out the year after you from your
and Scotty Barnes.
school.
I'd trade my left nut and pat for him now. I'm sure you would too.
No, I still need my nuts. You're done with yours, so there's a little difference there.
Okay, touche. Okay, touche on that for sure. It's just like a win is a win, and it's awesome. But we know what this season entails. We get very high, we get very low on this show because we're fucking fans of the team. But we know what this entails. We really do need to be healthy within this Eastern Conference, and if we're not, we need to get the best out of the players that we expect it from.
No, yeah, I mean. We're riding a high right now, but if we lose to Washington on Friday, we're going to be talking about Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I'm going to be on fucking I-80 Frogger watch if that happens. Are you kidding me? Like I can't handle it.
The Wizards did beat the Pacers tonight.
I saw that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Just like quickly off topic, this rookie class is very, very exciting. Very exciting. There have been some really good highlights, like Jaden Ivey, which I am fucking scared to death of what they're going to be Detroit in a few years because they've got some pieces over there. You had Paolo jumping over a guy tonight. Like, I mean, there's some good players out there. Already better than Patrick Williams. See how I tied that back in together? Fucking amazing. Good for me. Pat myself on the back there. But I don't know, man. Javante kind of looked lost a little bit tonight at some points too. But I mean, he ended up falling out, but did his job. Fucking high motor, come in, causes a turnover right away, gets the assist to Vooch for a dunk.
Hey, my favorite, since we got to do the Javante Green Power Hour. My favorite Javante moment tonight was the foul call on Max Strus. He's looking at Billy, hands straight up, asking Billy to challenge the call. Billy doesn't challenge the call.
I know. Why does Billy? I never pull the trigger on that.
I don't know. I don't know if he realizes that there's really not much consequence to trying to challenge. But whatever.
Either way, you get fined or something.
I don't know. Maybe he thinks you get one a year instead of one a game. But Javante relentlessly just gets down on the block as Max Strus is going to shoot free throws. Just yelling, "Ball don't lie, ball don't lie," and Max Strus missed both fucking free throws. So even when Javante isn't putting the ball in the hole, he's making sure that other people don't put the ball in the hole.
He's a fucking warlock.
He's a warrior and a warlock.
I mean, that's a combination no one wants to go up against. Fucking warlock and a warrior. Oh my god,
he can fly. Like
I gotta ask you too. Were you surprised that Caruso got the nod in the starting lineup?
I mean, not really. I mean, just he's a straight up dog, and that's what I feel like you need out there. I was secretly hoping for Dalen Terry to get the nod.
Oh my god, yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna happen right away.
Well, I mean, but still, I mean, we can have dreams. And
I honestly thought it was gonna come down to Kobe. Believe it or not, I thought it was gonna come down between Kobe or Javante because of the scoring loss. For my reason for Kobe was the scoring loss of Levine, and if Kobe can get hot, you know what he could do. And then I thought Javante because he plays so goddamn fast. So I kind of thought maybe
we did see some of Pat and Javante on the floor together tonight, which I do think was in minutes. We talked about that previously, so that wasn't a bad combination to see. I wouldn't have been against seeing that. I think with Kobe's confusion, when you start mixing him in different roles, that they were just like, not doing this. First game of the year, not starting with Kobe White as the starter, having him have a good game, feel great about himself. You know what? Go back to the bench because that's where you're going to be all season.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to figure out. But there was a lot of bright spots tonight. The Bulls battled after that weird first quarter. I mean, they played like shit and they weren't down much. And that was like the really cool thing about it. And a really awesome tidbit from tonight too is last year they averaged 24, I believe it was 24. It was 24 or 28. It's 24 or 28. I have to go look back in the stats. Alex, look that up for me. I know you're in here. There's a 24 3-pointers last year. They took 36 on opening night. 36% from deep tonight for the Bulls. But hey, That's the modern NBA is getting threes up, and they did that tonight. You know,
and
and
they had 20 in the first half.
Yeah. Oh, they had 20 in the first half?
They were 7 for 20 with about 3 minutes left in the second quarter.
So, I mean, it was fairly balanced between both. I mean, they had 16 then. They had 16 in the second half there. You know, 41 for 93 from the field, 44%, 21 for 28 from the charity stripe for 75%. They had 46 rebounds. They actually tied with the Heat in rebounds tonight. 23 assists, 2 more than the Heat. Bulls had 12 steals, which was good shit tonight. 12 steals for the Bulls. So we're going to go into our team stats. The points off of the turnovers for the Bulls were 12. It was 17 for Miami. 8 fast break points apiece for both teams. 32 points in the paint for the Bulls. 48 points in the paint for Miami.
Fast break points?
Yeah, both teams only had 8 fast break points tonight.
Wow,
so
that's bizarre. I feel like we did a lot better in transition.
I thought so too. That is kind of weird. But yeah. So you know, I mean, that's I'll take it, man. I'll take a win like that to start the season off, starting 1-0 against what most people say is a top 6 Eastern Conference team. Does feel good, especially with the loss of Zach LaVine. Again, not getting too high, not getting too low, but we will talk DEFCON 5 shit here.
Yeah, I mean, what were we, like 1-13 against the top 5 teams in the East last year? So to start the season against a potential top 5 team in the East, down 2 star players, and to get a W on the road, that feels good. That's not something I thought that we'd be talking about tonight. So definitely a nice surprise for Bulls fans, because I don't think there's many people that would have put money on the Bulls to take this game tonight once you got the news that Zach would not be playing.
There's one moron that did. This guy. I didn't put a lot on him. I put like $5, but hey, I got a return. I got a return. And you know where I did that at? I did that at betrivers.com. If you use promo code on tap, they will match up to $250 in your first deposit. I really did do it there too. I'm not even lying. I really did. It was fucking fantastic. Oh, they took 28 last year. Thank you, Alex. That's my guy. That's our stat guy. Alex is going to start just joining us on the show, I think. We're just going to bring him in. He'll be our little square like he's our producer guy. Because Alex is always fucking good to, to get the stats. Guy is like, remembers everything. But, all right. Game ball. Got to do game ball before we move into the next topic here.
I mean, I know one of us has to give it to DeMar, so I'm going to do it so you can give it to the other guy that kind of deserves it.
Io.
Hey, same wavelength. Those two guys definitely deserve to share that game ball tonight. Obviously, DeMar probably has too many game balls to where he'd just go, here you go, buddy, you deserve this one. You stepped up in a tough spot, and being the starting point guard for this team, Io showed in the first game that obviously we're going to miss Zoe, but we do have the ability to play through it with him and Goran Dragic. We're prepared for it, unlike last year where it was more of a surprise coming into the season. We look prepared, and Io looks ready and up to the task in his jumper. That quick little scoop from Vooch on that 3 to him was just a flick of the wrist. Dude really put in that work on the shot over the offseason, and that is going to take his game to an entirely different level.
IO stats, Chai Sports fan, were 17 points on 7 of 14 shooting, 3 for 6 from downtown. He did not attempt a free throw. 17 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. That was IO stats tonight. My favorite thing about him tonight is how he pushed the ball in transition and kept his head up. Really looking to make that pass, and if that pass was not there, he really dedicated himself and committed to, I'm going to get into the lane. And whatever happens, happens. And that was obviously, I think the game ball should go to DeMar. Like, I mean, DeMar did some crazy shit like he always does, but you kind of expect it now. What Io did tonight, I mean, he just took the reins of being that second leader on the team. Even when Drummond got teched up and Io went over to him and was like, hey, man, you calm down. Calm down. That's a second-year player.
It's my second year of the year. You've been to as many All-Star games as I've been in the league, but
right.
Hey, guy, calm down.
Right. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, I've been watching him since Illinois. Like, I have that tweet that I put out that it was probably one of my most liked tweets ever. I had a couple thousand on it. I said, Io DeSumo will be a Chicago Bull right after Illinois got eliminated. I love this kid. So I'm really glad that he's here. Obviously I didn't fucking know that was going to happen, but I love that he's here and he's continuing to improve because he's doing what he did at Illinois. He just kept getting better. And I just hope that really translates. I really do, man. I think he could have a long career. The kid fights over screens like a motherfucker. I mean, like, you could tell that him and Caruso probably work on that together. I mean, it's amazing. He fights over screens.
You can tell Pat doesn't work on it with him.
No, fucking Pat don't work on shit. You had to get me going. You had to get me going there.
We're about to hop off the air. I got to make sure your blood's boiling before you get off.
I know. I don't want him to be bad. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm getting you. Like, I don't want him to suck.
You don't want our draft night take to look good?
You know what? It fucking will. It fucking will. And I'm not going to sit here. That's the same thing like these people do with baseball with like their advanced analytical bullshit. And they're like, some of the shit I believe in. Don't get me wrong. Like, I do like numbers too. I'm not just all eye test, but they're like, oh, well, you know, when he takes this, he needs to be set up and put in the paint more. He needs to be set up and do this more. And this is how he needs to succeed. Shoot the fucking ball. Hit the shot and stop being so timid, because every time you do that, you look like an ass. So figure it out.
One of the very few shots that he did take and make tonight was a very awkward
fadeaway
mid-range fader that bounced all over the backboard and rim and fell in. And it was like, I didn't even really like that shot, but I almost still have to clap my hands because at least he took it.
It's all right. He's going to come out in game 2. He's going to drop 40. All right.
He's going to put you on ice.
Yeah, and then he's going to be like, yeah, what? What about your draft take night now, bitch? That's what he's going to say to me. I'm like, all right, I get it. You know, I hope that happens. I'm fine with Pat Williams calling me a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, especially if we get the W, then it's all worth it.
Right, 100%. So next game will be Friday night. That will be against the Washington Wizards. Zach LaVine is questionable as well for that game. Shams reported that it was unlikely that he would play. Billy Donovan said they were going to look at it. Wouldn't make a ton of sense to me for him to play if they don't want him to play back-to-backs, play in Washington, and then sit out the home opener in Chicago against Cleveland on Saturday night. So I guess we'll just kind of have to see what happens from there, but the Bulls will be taking on the Washington Wizards, who are 1-0 after winning their game tonight, like you said earlier, against the Pacers. So, yeah, man, you know, I guess we'll just kind of have to see what happens here. I'm confident going into that Wizards game because I'm fucking flying high right now. So we just beat Miami in Miami. So suck on that, Heat fans, right there. Right there. You got anything you'd like to say, my friend?
No, I just hope that Zach's available for the home opener against Cleveland. Of the two teams, anticipating Zach not playing in back-to-backs anyway. As long as he plays in that home opener against the better of the two teams in this scenario, I'll be a little bit more comfortable. But obviously, we got to see how much he plays as well, because this is not what I thought we were signing up for going into the season. I thought we were all systems go on Zach LaVine, and despite the W, there still is that lingering, what is this season really going to be if this is how we're starting with Zach and Zoe? Questionable.
I am sure we'll be talking about that a lot more as the season progresses, but tonight it's a win, and that's what we're taking, right? Right?
Yes, take the W and run. Let's get out of here.
All right. Everybody, thank you for joining and having the comment section popping tonight. Please, after every single game, come on in here. Let's fucking hang out. If you want to get on the podcast, DM one of us. We have no problem bringing anybody on to talk some shit and talk Bulls basketball. Be sure to go on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap at On Tap Sportsnet. Go over to YouTube, the On Tap Sportsnet YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that little bell thing because that alerts you. I didn't know what that did. That alerts you, Goose, if you didn't know. Anytime we go live, it will fucking pop up on there. If you want to make some money, you want to make some real fucking money, go to betrivers.com. They will match up to $250 of your first deposit using promo code ONTAP. So be sure to do that. We'll be back Friday. I guess after the Bulls beat the Wizards. I'm speaking it into existence. After the Bulls beat the Wizards on Friday, we'll be back for the post game. Let's go, Bulls.